Khureb BeRuakh, Sword of the Spirit, narrated and interpreted by Wendy.
1 Corinthians Chapter 1. Paul, who is called to be an apostle of Jeshojehu HaMashiach, through the will of Elohim, and brother Sosthenes, unto the assembly of Elohim that is at Corinth, to those who are sanctified in Yahushua, called to be saints with everyone in every place, who call upon the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, our Adonai, both theirs and ours. Grace and peace be unto you from Elohim our Father and Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach. I always thank my Elohim on your behalf for the grace of Elohim which is given to you by Yahushua HaMashiach, so that by him you are enriched in all things, in all utterances and in all knowledge, just like the testimony of Mashiach was confirmed in you, so that you may not lack any gift, waiting for the coming of our Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach, who will also confirm you until the end, blameless in the day of our Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach. Elohim is faithful, by whom you were called to the fellowship of his Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, our Adonai. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach, that you will speak the same thing, and that there is no division among you, but that you are perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. For you, my brethren, have been declared to me by those who are of this house of Cleo, so that there are no contentions among you. Now I will say this, that all of you say, I am of Paul, and I am of Apollos, and I am of Kepha, and I am of Mashiach. Is Mashiach divided? Was Paul crucified for you? Or were you baptized in the name of Paul? I thank Elohim that I did not baptize any of you, except Crispus and Gaius, so no one might say that I had baptized in my own name. Also, I baptized the household of Stephanas. Besides them, I did not baptize any other. For the Mashiach did not send me to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wise words, or else the cross of Mashiach will be made of no effect. For the preaching of the cross is considered foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are saved, it is the power of Elohim. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and bring the understanding of the prudent to nothing. Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Has Elohim not made the wisdom of this world foolish? Then, for concerning the wisdom of Elohim, the world does not know Elohim by wisdom. It pleases Elohim to save those who believe by the foolishness of preaching. For the Yehudim require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom. But we preach the crucifixion of Mashiach. To the Yehudim, it's a stumbling block, and to the Greeks, it's foolishness. But to those who are called, both Yehudim and Greeks, Mashiach is the power and wisdom of Elohim, because the foolishness of Elohim is wiser than men, and the weakness of Elohim is stronger than men. For you see your calling, brethren, how there are not many wise men after the flesh, nor many mighty, nor many noble. Instead, Elohim has chosen the foolish ones of the world to confound the wise, and Elohim has chosen the weak ones of the world to confound those who are mighty. And Elohim has chosen the low ones of the world, and those who are despised, and who are nothing, to bring those who are something to nothing, so that no flesh will be glorified in his presence. But you are of him, with Yahushua HaMashiach, who has become the wisdom and righteousness and sanctification and redemption of Elohim for us, so that he who is glorified, let him be glorified in Adonai, like it is written. Chapter 2. And I, brethren, when I came to you, I did not come with excellent speech or wisdom, declaring the testimony of Elohim to you. For I was not determined to know anything among you, except Yahushua HaMashiach, and him crucified. And I was with you in weakness, and in fear, and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of men's wisdom, but with a demonstration of the Spirit and of power. Therefore your faith does not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Elohim. However, we speak wisdom among those who are perfect, but not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world, who come to nothing. But we speak the wisdom of Elohim in a mystery, the hidden that Elohim ordained before the world until our glorification, which none of the princes of this world know. For had they known it, they would not have crucified Adonai of glory. But, like it is written, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor has the things that Elohim has prepared for those who love him entered into the heart of a man. But Elohim has revealed them to us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all things, even the deep things of Elohim. For who knows the thoughts of a man except the spirit of man that is within him? Even so, no one knows the thoughts of Elohim except the Ruach of Elohim. Now we have not received the spirit of the world, but the Spirit that is from Elohim, so that we might know the things of Elohim that are freely given to us. Also, we do not speak these things in the words that the wisdom of men teaches, but what the BeRuack Kodesh teaches, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man does not receive the things of the Ruach of Elohim, for they are foolishness to him, nor can he know, because they are spiritually discerned. But he who judges all things is spiritual. However, he himself is not judged by man. For who has known the mind of Adonai, such that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Mashiach. Chapter 3. And I, brethren, could not speak to you as to spiritual, but as to carnal, similar to babes in Mashiach. I have fed you with milk, and not with grain, for by it you were not able to bear it. Still yet you are not able, for you are still carnal. For envy and strife and divisions among you, are you not carnal and walk like men? For while one says, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are you not carnal? Therefore, who is Paul, and who is Apollos, but ministers by whom you believed? Even as Adonai gave to every man, I have planted, Apollos has watered, but Elohim gives the increase. Therefore he who plants is nothing, nor is he who waters, only Elohim who gives the increase. Now he who plants and he who waters are the same, and everyone will receive his own reward according to his own labor. For we are laborers together with Elohim. You are Elohim's husbandry, Elohim's building. According to the grace of Elohim which is given to me, I have laid the foundation like a wise master builder, and another builds on it. But let every man take heed how he builds upon it. For no one can lay a foundation other than what is laid, which is Yahushua HaMashiach. Now, if any man build with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble upon this foundation, each man's work will manifest. For the day will declare it, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will try every man's work, what sort it is. If any man's work remains, which he has built upon, he will receive a reward. If any man's work is burned, he will suffer loss, but he himself will be saved, still yet like by fire. Do you not know that you are the temple of Elohim, and that the BeRuack of Elohim dwells in you? If any man defiles the temple of Elohim, Elohim will destroy him, for the temple of Elohim is holy, which you are. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seems to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, so that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with Elohim. For it is written, He takes the wise with their own craftiness. And again, Adonai knows the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. Therefore let no one be glorified in men. For all things are yours, whether Paul or Apollos or Kepha, or the world, or life, or death, or present things, or future things. All belong to you, and you belong to the Mashiach, and the Mashiach belongs to Elohim.
Chapter 4.
Let this be a man's account of us, like of the ministers of Mashiach, and stewards of the mysteries of Elohim. Moreover, in stewardship it is required that a man be found faithful. But with me it is a very small thing that I will be judged of you, or of man's judgment. Indeed, I do not judge of my own self, not because I know myself, still I am not justified, but because he who judges me is Adonai. Therefore judge nothing before the time, until Adonai comes, who will both bring the hidden things of darkness to light, and manifest the counsels of the heart. And then every man will praise Elohim. And these things, brethren, I have applied to myself, and to Apollos for your sakes, that by us you will learn not to think above that which is written, so that none of you are puffed up one against another. For who makes you to differ? And what do you have that you did not receive? Now, if you did receive it, why do you boast, as if you have not received it? Now you are full. Now you are rich. You have reigned like kings with us. And I wish to Elohim that you did reign, so that we might reign with you too. For I think that Elohim has set us out as the last apostles, like those who are appointed for death. For we are made a spectacle for the entire world, and to angels, and to men. We are fools for the sake of Mashiach, but you are wise in Mashiach. We are weak, but you are strong. We are honorable, but you are despised. Even to this present hour, we both hunger and thirst, and are naked, and are beaten, and have no certain dwelling place, and labor, working with our own hands. Being reviled, we bless. Being persecuted, we suffer. Being defamed, we entreat. We are made like the filth of the world, and are the garbage of all things to this day. I do not write these things to shame you, but, like my beloved sons, I warn. For although you have 10,000 instructors in Mashiach, still you do not have many fathers. For in Yehoshua HaMashiach I have begotten you through the gospel. Why do I seek you, my fellow followers? For this reason I have sent Timotheus to you, who is my beloved son and is faithful in Adonai, who will bring you into remembrance of my ways that are in Mashiach, as I teach everywhere in every assembly. Now some are puffed up, as though I would not come to you. But I will come to you shortly, if Adonai wills. Then I will not only know the speech of those who are puffed up, but the power. For the kingdom of Elohim is not in word, but in power. What do you prefer? Should I come to you with a rod, or in love, and in the spirit of meekness. Chapter 5. It is commonly reported that there is fornication among you, and the fornication is such that it is not even named among the nations, that someone would have his father's wife. Yet you are puffed up, and have not mourned instead, such that he who has done this deed might be taken away from among you. For truly I am absent in body, but present in spirit, having already judged him whom has done this deed, as if I were present. In the name of our Adonai, 𝤉𤄄𝐿, when you are gathered together, and my spirit with the power of our Adonai, 𝤉𝄄𝐿, to deliver such a person to Hashatan for the destruction of the flesh, so that the spirit may be saved during the day of Adonai, 𝤉𝄄𝐿. Your glorification is not good. Do you not know that a little leaven leavens the whole lump? Therefore, purge out the old leaven, so that you may be a new lump, as if you were unleavened. For even Mashiach is our Pesach, sacrificed for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, nor with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. I wrote to you in a letter, do not associate with fornicators. But I am not talking about the fornicators who are in this world, or about the greedy, or about extortioners, or about idol worshippers. Otherwise, you would be obligated to depart from the world. I have written this to you, not to mingle if there is one who is called a brother, and he is a fornicator, or a greedy man, or an idol worshipper, or an abuser, or a drunk, or a robber, with whom you are not even to eat bread. For why should I judge those who are outside also? Should you not judge those who are within? However, Elohim will judge those who are outside. Therefore, put that wicked person away from among yourselves. Chapter 6. Do any of you who has an issue against another dare to go to the law before the unjust, and not before the saints? Do you not know that the saints will judge the world? And if the world is judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Do you not know that they will judge angels? How much more the things that pertain to this life? If then you have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are the least esteemed in the assembly. I do speak to your shame. It is true that there is not a wise man among you, not anyone who is able to judge between his brethren. But a brother goes to the law with brother, and this is before the unbelievers. Therefore, now you have condemned yourselves, because you go to the law with one another. Instead, why not be wronged? Instead, why not suffer being defrauded? But you yourselves wrong and defraud your brethren. Do you not know that the unrighteous will not inherit the kingdom of Elohim? Do not be deceived, nor will fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor docile, nor sodomites, nor thieves, nor coveters, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners will inherit the kingdom of Elohim. And such were some of you, but you are washed. But you are sanctified. But you are justified in the name of Adonai, Yahushua, and by the Ruach of Elohim. Everything is lawful to me, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is lawful to me, but I will not be controlled by anything. Meats are for the belly, and the belly for mates. But Elohim will destroy both it and them. Now the body is not for fornication, but for Adonai, and Adonai for the body. And Elohim has raised up both Adonai and us, also by his own power. Do you not know that your bodies are the members of the Mashiach? Therefore should I then take the members of Mashiach and make them the members of a harlot? Elohim forbid. Do you not know that he who joins a harlot becomes one body? For he said, two will become one flesh. But he who is joined to Adonai is one spirit.
Flee fornication. Every sin that a man does is outside the body. Therefore, he who commits fornication sins against his own body.
What, do you not know that your body is the temple of the Ruach Kodesh, who is in you, which you have of Elohim, and you are not your own? For you are bought with a price. Therefore, glorify Elohim with your body and with your spirit, which belongs to Elohim.
Chapter 7.
Now, concerning the things that you wrote to me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. However, because of fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. Do not deprive one another, except with consent for a time, so that you may give yourselves for fasting and prayer, and come together again, so that Hashatan does not tempt you for your lack of self-control. But I speak this by permission, not of commandment. For I would that all men were like myself. But every man has his proper gift of Elohim, one according to this manner, and another according to that. Therefore I say to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even like myself. But if they cannot contain, let them marry.
For it is better to marry than to burn.
And to the married I command, not I, but Adonai, do not let the wife depart from her husband. But if she departs, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband. And let not the husband put away his wife. But to the rest I say, not Adonai, if any brother has a wife who does not believe, and she is pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And the woman who has a husband that does not believe, and if he is pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband, or else your children would be unclean. However, now they are holy. But if the unbelieving departs, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage by such. But Elohim has called us to peace. How do you know, O wife, whether you will save your husband? Or how do you know, O husband, whether you will save your wife? For as Elohim has distributed to every man, as Adonai has called everyone, so let him walk. And so I ordain in the assemblies. And if a circumcised man is called, do not let him return to being uncircumcised. And if an uncircumcised is called, do not let him become circumcised. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing, only the keeping of the commandments of Elohim. Let every man abide in the same calling in which he was called. Are you a servant who is called? Do not worry about it. But if you are made free, instead use it. For a servant who is called in Adonai is a free man of Adonai. Likewise, a free man who is called is also a servant of Mashiach. You are bought with a price. You are not the servants of men. Brethren, let everyone in which is called abide with Elohim. Now concerning virgins, I have no commandment of Adonai, yet I give my judgment, as one who obtains mercy of Adonai, to be faithful. Because of the present crisis, I think that it is good for a man to remain as he is. Are you bound to a wife? Do not seek to be loosened. Are you loosened from a wife? Do not seek a wife. But if you marry, you have not sinned, and if a virgin marry, she has not sinned. Nevertheless, such will have fleshly tribulations. So I wish to spare you. But I say this, brethren, the time is short. It remains that both those who have wives become as though they had none, and those who weep as though they weep not, and those who rejoice as though they rejoice not, and those who buy as though they possess nothing, and those who use this world as not abusing it. For the design of this world is passing away. But I would have you without carefulness. He who is unmarried cares for the things that belong to Adonai, how he may please Adonai. But he who is married cares for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. There is a difference between a wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman cares for the things of Adonai, so that she may be holy both in body and in spirit. But she who is married cares for the things of the world, how she may please her husband.
And I say this for your own benefit, not so that I may cast a trap upon you, but for that which is comely, and that you may attend to Adonai without distraction. But if any man thinks that he behaves uncomely towards his virgin, if she passes the flower of age, and need so require, let him do what he wishes. He does not sin. Let them marry.
Nevertheless, he who stands steadfast in his heart, having no necessity, but has power over his own will, and has so decreed in his heart that he will keep his virginity, does well. So too, he who gives it in marriage does well. But he who does not give it in marriage does better. As long as her husband lives, a wife is bound by the law. But if her husband is dead, she is at liberty to be married to who she wants, only in Adonai. But according to my judgment, she will be happier if she abides so. Also, I think that I have the Ruach of Elohim. Chapter 8. Now, concerning things offered to idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffs up, but charity builds up. And if any man thinks that he knows anything, he still does not know what he should know. But if any man loves Elohim, he is known by him. Therefore, concerning the eating of things that are offered in sacrifice to idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is no other Elohim but one. For although there are those who are called deities, whether in the heavens or in the earth, just as there are many deities and many lords, but for us there is only one Elohim, the Father, of whom are all things, and we are with him. Also, one Adonai, Yahushua HaMashiach, by whom all things exists, and we are with him. But this knowledge is not in every person, for even now there are people who are aware of food that is sacrificed to idols, but because their conscience is weak, it is defiled. However, food does not bring us to God, for if we eat it, we gain nothing, and if we do not eat, we lose nothing. But take heed, or else by some means your liberty might become a stumbling block for those who are weak.
For if any man sees those of you who have knowledge sit to eat in the temple of an idol, will his conscience, which is weak, not be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols? And by your knowledge, the weak brother of whom Mashiach died will perish. Moreover, when you sin against the brethren like this, and wound their weak conscience, you sin against the Mashiach. Therefore, if food makes your brother to offend, I will not eat flesh while the world stands, or else I make my brother to offend.
Chapter 9. Am I not an apostle? Am I not free? Have I not seen Yahushua HaMashiach, our Adonai? Are you not my work in Adonai? Although I am not an apostle to others, at least I am to you, for the seal of my apostleship is that you are in Adonai. My response to those who examine me is this: do we not have power to eat and drink? Do we not have power to lead a sister spouse, just like the other apostles, and the brother of Adonai and Kepa? Or is it only for I and Barnabas, who have no power to withstand working, who fights in a war at his own expense, who plants a vineyard and does not eat its fruit, or who feeds a flock and does not eat the milk of the flock? Do I say these things as a man, or does the law not say the same things also? For it is written in the torah of Moshe, you will not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treads out the grain. Does Elohim care about oxen? But it is understood that he said it is for our sake, and for our sake it was written, because it is incumbent upon the plower to plow for hope, and whoever threshes for the hope of a crop. If we have sown spiritual things to you, is it too much that we reap carnal things from you? And if others have authority over you, is it not all the more fitting for us? But we have not used this authority, but we have endured all things, so that we may not hinder the gospel of the Mashiach in any way. Don't you know that those who serve in the temple get their food from the temple, and those who serve at the altar share in what is offered on the altar? Likewise, Adonai has ordained that those who preach the gospel will live by the gospel. But I have not used these things, nor have I written these things, so that it would not be done for me, because it is better for me to die than that any man would make my glory void. For although I preach the gospel, I have nothing to boast of, since it was necessary for me to preach. Woe unto me if I do not preach the gospel. For if I do this with my pleasure, I have my reward. But if without my pleasure, I am entrusted with a stewardship. What is my reward then? When I evangelize, I will make the gospel of the Mashiach without expense, and do not use the authority that he gives to me in the gospel. For although I am free from everything, still I make myself a servant to all, so that I might gain the more. And to the Yehudim I became like a Yehudi, so that I might gain the Yehudim. To those who are under the law, like under the law, so that I might gain those who are under the law. To those who are lawless, like the lawless, not being lawless of Elohim, but under the law of Mashiach, so that I might gain those who are lawless. To the weak I became like weak, so that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all, so that by all means I might save a few. And I do this for the gospel's sake, so that I might be a partaker of it with you. Do you not know that of all who run in a race, only one receives the prize? Therefore, run, so that you may obtain. Now everyone strives to control himself with all things.
They do it to get a crown that will not last.
But we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run aimlessly like someone who beats the air. Instead, I bruise my body, and I enslave it. Or else I who have preached to others might disqualify myself. Chapter 10. Moreover, brethren, I do not want you to be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea.
And they are all baptized to Musha in the cloud and in the sea.
And they all ate the same spiritual food, and they all drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock, and that rock was the Mashiach. But Elohim was not very pleased with many of them, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things are our examples, for the purpose that we do not lust over evil things also, like they have lusted, nor be idolaters, like some of them were. As it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink, and they rose up to play. Nor let us commit fornication, like some of them committed. And 23,000 fell in one day. Nor let us tempt Mashiach also, like some of them tempted, and were destroyed by serpents. Nor murmur also, like some of them murmured, and were destroyed by the destroyer. Now all of these things happen to them for examples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the end of the age has come. Therefore let him who thinks he is standing take heed, or else he will fall. No temptation has come upon you except that of the children of men, but Elohim is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted more than whatever you are able, but shall make an exit for your temptation, so that you can endure. Therefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as if to wise men. Judge what I say. The cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion blood of the Mashiach? The bread which we break, is it not the communion body of the Mashiach? For all of us are one bread, one body. For all of us, we are partakers of that same bread. Behold, Yeshariel followed the flesh. Are those who eat of the sacrifice not partakers of the altar? So what am I saying? Is an idol anything? Or is the offering that is sacrificed to idols anything? But that which the pagans sacrifice, they sacrifice to demons, and not to Elohim. However, I do not want to be partakers with demons. You cannot drink the cup of Adonai and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of Adonai's table and the table of devils. Should we provoke Adonai to jealousy? Are we stronger than him? Everything is allowed to me, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is allowed to me, but not everything builds up. No one should seek their own good, but the good of others. Eat whatever is sold in the marketplace without question, for the sake of the conscience. For the earth and the fullness of it belongs to Adonai.
If any of those who do not believe invite you to a feast,
and you want to go, eat whatever is set before you, asking no question for the sake of the conscience. But if anyone says to you, "This is offered in sacrifice to idols," do not eat it, because he exposed it, and for conscience sake. For the earth and the fullness of it belongs to Adonai. I am referring to the other person's conscience, not yours. For why is my freedom being judged by another's conscience? For if by grace I am a partaker, why should I be blasphemed for that which I give thanks? Therefore, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of Elohim. Give no offense, not to the Yehudim, nor to the nations, nor to the assembly of Elohim. Even so, I please everyone with everything, not seeking my own benefit, but the benefit of many, so that they may be saved. Chapter 11. Be my imitators, even as I am of Mashiach also. Now I commend you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances like I delivered them to you. But I want you to know that the head of every man is Mashiach, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Mashiach is Elohim. every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonors his head. But every woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head, for that is the same as if she were shaven. For if a woman is not covered, let her also be shaven. But if it is shameful for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. For truly a man should not cover his head. He is the image and glory of Elohim, but the woman is the glory of the man. For a man is not of the woman, but the woman is of the man. Nor was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this reason, the woman should have power over her head because of the angels. Nevertheless, the man is not without the woman, nor the woman without the man in Adonai. For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman.
But all things are of Elohim.
Judge within yourselves. Is it appropriate that a woman pray to Elohim uncovered? Does nature itself not teach you that if a man has long hair, it is shameful to him? But if a woman has long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given to her for a covering. But if a man disputes against these things, we have no custom, nor does the assembly of Elohim. And declaring this, I give no praise, because you do not come together for the better, but for the worse. For first of all, when you come together in the assembly, I hear that there is divisions among you, and I partly believe it. There are going to be divisions among you, so that those who are approved among you may be known. Therefore, when you come together into the same place, it is not to eat the supper of Adonai. For each takes his own supper before the eating. Therefore, one is hungry and another is drunk. What? Do you not have houses to eat and drink in? Or do you despise the assembly of Elohim and shame those who do not have? What can I say to you? Should I praise you with this? I do not praise. For I have received of Adonai that which I have delivered to you also. The night that Adonai Yahushua took bread, he was betrayed. And when he had given thanks, he broke it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me. The cup was according to the same manner also, when he sipped, saying, This cup is the New Testament of my blood. Do this as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you show Adonai's death until he comes. Therefore, whoever will eat this bread and drink this cup of Adonai unworthily will be guilty of the body and blood of Adonai. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he who eats and drinks unworthily eats and drinks damnation to himself, not discerning the body. For this reason many are weak and sickly among you. Also many sleep. For if we judge ourselves, we will not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of Adonai, so that we will not be condemned with the world. Therefore, my brethren, when you come together to eat, tarry one for another. And if any man hunger, let him eat at home,
so that you will not come together to condemnation.
And I will set the rest in order when I come. Chapter 12. Now, brethren, I do not want you to be ignorant concerning spiritual gifts. You know that you were of the nations, carried away to those mute idols, even as you were led. Therefore, I will help you to understand that no man speaking by the Ruach of Elohim calls Yahushua accursed, and that no man can say that Yahushua is Adonai except by the Ruach Kodesh. Now there are different gifts, but the same Spirit, and there are different administrations, but the same Adonai, and there are different works, but all in all it is the same Elohim who works. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man for the benefit of every one. For unto one the word of wisdom is given by the Spirit, unto another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, unto another faith is by the same Spirit, unto another the gifts of healing is by the same Spirit, unto another the working of miracles, unto another prophecy, unto another discerning of spirits, unto another different kinds of tongues, unto another the interpretation of tongues. But all of these things that same Spirit does and distributes to every person as he pleases. For just as the body is one, and has many members, and all the members of that same body, being many, are one body, so too is the Mashiach. For by one Spirit we are all baptized into one body, whether Yehudim or the nations, whether bond or free, and have all been made to drink the same Spirit. For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot says, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, then is it not of the body? And if the ear says, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, then is it not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, what hears? If everything hears, what smells? But now Elohim has set the members, all of them, in the body as it has pleased him. And if they were all the same member, is there a body? But now they are many members, but only one body. And the eye cannot say to the hand, I do not need you, nor again the head to the foot, I have no need of you. But rather those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary. And that which we think are shameful in the body, we increase more honor to these. And for those that are contemptible, we make great attire. But those members that we honor do not need honor, for Elohim unites the body, and he gives greater honor to the small members, so that there will be no division in the body, but that the members will have the same care one for another. And if one member suffers, all the members suffers with it. Or if one member is honored, all the members rejoice with it. Now you are the body of Mashiach, the members in particular. And Elohim has set some in the assembly, first the apostles, secondly prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helpings, governments, diverse tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all workers of miracles? Does everyone have the gifts of healing? Does everyone speak with tongues? Does everyone interpret? Now eagerly desire the greater gifts, and yet I will show you the best way. Even if I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I have become a noisy brass, or a clanking cymbal. And even if I have the gift of prophecy, and understand all mysteries, and all knowledge, and even if I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, but I do not have charity, I am nothing. And even if I give all my goods to feed the poor, and even if I give my body to be burned, but I do not have charity, it profits me nothing. Charity is long-suffering, it is kind. Charity does not envy. Charity does not boast of itself. It is not puffed up. It does not behave itself unseemly, nor does it seek her own. It is not easily provoked, nor thinks evil. It does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Charity does not end, but where there are prophecies, they will end. Where there are tongues, they will be silenced. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect comes, then that which is in part will be done away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I understood like a child, I thought like a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Now our sight is like a reflection in the mirror, but then face to face. Now I know partially, but then I will know as I am known. And now abides faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. Chapter 14. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts, but especially that you may prophesy.
For he who speaks in an unknown tongue does not speak to men, but to Elohim.
For no man understands him. However, in the Spirit he speaks mysteries. But he who prophesies speaks for the edification and encouragement and comfort of a man. He who speaks in an unknown tongue edifies himself, but he who prophesies edifies the assembly. I wish that all of you spoke with tongues, but I'd rather that you prophesied, for greater is he who prophesies than he who speaks in tongues, except if he interprets, so that the assembly may receive the edification. Now, brethren, if I come to you speaking with tongues, how will it benefit you, unless I speak to you either by revelation, or by knowledge, or by prophesying, or by doctrine? And even lifeless things can give a sound, whether pipe or harp. Unless they give a distinct sound, how will it be known what is piped or harped? For if a trumpet gives an uncertain sound, who will prepare himself for the battle? Likewise, unless you utter words that are easy to be understood by the tongue, how will it be known what was spoken? For you will speak it into the air. It may be there are so many kinds of voices in the world, and none of them is without significance. Therefore, if I do not grasp the meaning of what someone is saying, I am a foreigner to the speaker, and the speaker is a foreigner to me. Even so, just as you are zealous of spiritual gifts, seek that you may excel for the edification of the assembly. Therefore let him whom speaks in an unknown tongue pray that he may interpret. For if I pray in an unknown tongue, my spirit prays, but my understanding is unfruitful. What is it then? I will pray with the Spirit, and I will pray with understanding also. I will sing with the Spirit, and I will sing with understanding also. Or else, when you bless with the Spirit, how will he who occupies the room of the unlearned say Amen by you giving thanks, seeing he does not understand what you say? For truly you give thanks well, but the other is not edified. I thank my Elohim, I speak with tongues more than you all.
Yet in the assembly I would rather speak 5 words with my understanding, so that I might teach others, than have 10,000 words in an unknown tongue.
My brethren, do not be children in your intellects, but be infants in evil, and be fully mature in your intellects. In the law it is written, with other tongues and through the lips of foreigners I will speak to this people. But even then they will not listen to me, says Yahweh. Therefore tongues are for a sign, not for those who believe, but for those who do not believe. But prophesying is not for those who do not believe, but for those who believe. Therefore, if the whole assembly comes together into one place, and all speak with tongues, and the uneducated or unbelievers come, will they not say that you are crazy? But if all prophesy, and someone who does not believe or is uneducated comes, he is convinced of all, he is judged of all. Therefore the secrets of his heart are made manifest. And so falling down on his face, he will worship Elohim and report of a truth that Elohim is in you. How is it then, brethren, when you come together, all of you have a psalm, a doctrine, a tongue, a revelation, an interpretation? Let all things be done to edify. If anyone speaks in an unknown tongue by two, or at the most by three, and by turns, then let someone interpret. But if there is no interpreter, let him keep silence in the assembly, and let him speak to himself and to Adonai. Let the prophet speak 2 or 3, and let the others judge. If anything is revealed to another who sits by, let the first hold his peace. For you may all prophesy one by one, so that all may learn, and all may be comforted. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. For Elohim is not the author of confusion, but of peace, like in all assemblies of the saints. Let your women be silent in the assemblies, for they are not allowed to speak, but to be in subjection, as the law says also. And if they learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for a woman to speak in the assembly. Did the word of Elohim come forth from you, or did it come to you alone? If any man thinks himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things that I write to you are the commandments of Adonai. But if any man is ignorant, let him be ignorant. Therefore, brethren, covet to prophesy.
But do not forbid to speak in tongues.
Let all things be done decently and in order. Chapter 15. Moreover, brethren, I declare the gospel which is preached to you, also which you have received, and in which you stand, also by which you are saved, if you keep in memory what I preach to you, or else you have believed in vain. Also from the beginning I delivered to you which I received, how the Mashiach died for our sins according to the Scriptures,
and that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day according to the Scriptures,
and that he was seen by Kepha, then by the 12. After that he was seen by over 500 brethren at once, many of whom still remain to this day, but some have fallen asleep. After that he was seen by Jacob, then by all the apostles. And at last he was seen by me also, like someone who is born out of the appointed time. For I am the least of the apostles, such that I am not meant to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the assembly of Elohim. But by the grace of Elohim I am what I am, and his grace which is upon me is not in vain. But I labored more abundantly than them all. However, not I, but the grace of Elohim which is with me. Therefore, whether them or myself, we preached this, and you believed it. Now, if it is preached that Mashiach rose from the dead, why do some among you say that there is no resurrection of the dead? But if there is no resurrection of the dead, then has Mashiach not risen? And if Mashiach has not risen, then is our preaching empty, and your faith empty also? If it is true that the dead was not risen up, truly we have found false witnesses of Elohim, for we have testified that Elohim has raised up the Mashiach. He did not raise. For if the dead does not raise, then has the Mashiach not risen? And if the Mashiach has not risen, your faith is in vain. You are still in your sins. Also, then, those who have fallen asleep in Mashiach have perished. If in this life we have hope in the Mashiach alone, we would all be very miserable. But now the Mashiach has risen from the dead, becoming the first fruits of those who sleep. Because death came by an Adam, so too the resurrection of the dead comes by an Adam. For everyone dies just like Adam died. Still yet, all will be made alive by the Mashiach, but every man in his own order. The Mashiach is the first fruits. Afterward, those who belong to the Mashiach during his coming. Then the end, when the kingdom is risen up to Elohim, even the Father, when he puts down all rule and all authority and power. For he must reign until he has put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy who is destroyed will be death. For he brought all things to submission under his feet. But when it says, all things are subjected to him, it is understood that it excludes him who subjected all things to him. And when all things are subdued to him, then the Son will be subjected to him who put all things under him, so that Elohim may be all in all. Or else, what will those who are baptized for the dead do if the dead does not rise at all? Why then are they baptized for the dead? And why do we stand in jeopardy every hour? I would die every day by your glorification, which I have in Yahushua HaMashiach, our Adonai. And if, as a citizen of the people, I was cast to wild beasts in Ephesus, what will I gain if the dead do not rise? Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. Do not be deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. Awake to righteousness, and do not sin. For some do not have the knowledge of Elohim. I speak for your shame. But some say, how will the dead rise up? And with what body will they come? Fool, the seed that you plant will not live unless it dies. When you are sown, you do not plant the body that will exist, but just a seed, perhaps of wheat, or of something else. But Elohim gives it a body, as it pleases him, and to every seed his own body. All flesh is not the same flesh, but one flesh is Adam, another flesh is beasts, another is fish, another is fowl. Also, there are celestial bodies and terrestrial bodies. However, the glory of the celestial is one, and the terrestrial is another. One has the glorification of the sun, and another the glorification of the moon, and another the glorification of the stars. And the glorification of a star differs from another star. So too is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption. It is raised incorruptible. It is sown in dishonor. It is raised glorified. It is sown in weakness. It is raised powerful. It is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body, and there is a spiritual body. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam is a revived spirit. The spiritual does not come first, but the natural, and after that the spiritual. The first Adam was of the dust of the earth. The second Adam is of heaven. As is the earthly man, so too are those who are earthly. And as is the heavenly, so too are those who are heavenly. And as we have carried the image of the earthly, also we will bear the image of the heavenly. Brethren, now I say this, that the flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Elohim, nor does corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I will show you a mystery. Not all of us will sleep, but we will all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised incorruptible, and we will be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible puts on incorruption, and this mortal puts on immortality, then the saying that is written will come to pass. Death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is your sting? O grave, where is your victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin
is the law.
But thanks be to Elohim, who gives us victory through our Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of Adonai, forasmuch as you know that your labor is not in vain in Adonai. Chapter 16. Now concerning the collection for the saints, as I have given order to the assemblies of Galatia, even so you will do. On one of the Shabats, each of you will store up whatever he has prospered by himself, so that there will not be a collection when I come. And when I come, whosoever you approve by letters, I will send them to bring your liberty to Yerushalayim. And if it is meant that I go also, they will go with me. Now, when I pass through Macedonia, I will come to you, for I will pass through Macedonia. And truly it will be that I will abide and winter with you, so that you may bring me on my journey wherever I go. And now I will not see you along the way, but intend to tarry a while with you, if Adonai permits. However, I will tarry at Ephesus until Pentecost. For a great door is opened to me, filled with opportunities and many adversaries. Now, if Timotheus comes, see that he is with you without fear, for he works the work of Adonai, just as I do too. Therefore let no man despise him, but accompany him with peace, so that he may come to you. For I will look for him with the brethren. As concerning brother Apollos, I greatly desired him to come to you with the brethren. However, he will not come at this time at all, but he will come when he has a convenient time. Watch, stand fast in the faith, act like men, be strong, let all your things be done with charity. I beseech you, brethren, you know the house of Stephanas, that it is the first fruits of Achaia, and that they have addicted themselves to the ministry of the saints, so that you submit yourselves to such, and to everyone who helps and labors along us. I am glad of the coming of Stephanas and Fortunatus, and Achaicus, for that which was lacking on your part they have supplied. For they have refreshed my spirit and yours. Therefore acknowledge those who are such. The assemblies of Asia salute you. Aquila and Priscilla salute you much in Adonai, with the assembly that is in their house. Greet one another with a holy kiss. The salutation of Paul is with my own hand. If any man does not love Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach, let him be accursed. Our Adonai has come. The grace of our Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach is with you. My love is with you all in Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
The end. Thank you for listening to my interpretation of 1 Corinthians. I hope that you find my Bible series, Khureb BeRuakh, Sword of the Spirit, enlightening. The word of 𝐤𝐄� is a treasure trove of mysteries. It's amazing what you'll discover when you read it with your eyes open. My name is Wendy, and you've been called out of darkness